So, the first person on the panel to ask, I'm sorry about that, to ask the question, why should we vote for you as Deputy Leader? 3 minutes, and it is Peter Hain.
Well, thank you, Michael, and thank you to Progress and the Fabians for organising this event. So, a better class question time, I think. And to accept we're all friends on the top table together rather than fighting each other. I want to be Deputy Leader because I want to ensure that Labour wins the next general election. And with the Tories' resurgence, we have our work cut out. But we can and we will win if we pull together. That means reconnecting Labour's leadership with grassroots members, reconnecting trade unionists, and above all, reconnecting with voters, reaching out to all those in our society that we've lost touch with, and rebuilding the Progressive Coalition, which won us 2 successive landslides, but which fragmented last time. So just more of the same will not win, nor will going back to an old, failed 1980s agenda. We'll only win if we offer a radical vision for the future, leading the fight against climate change with a new red-green agenda, combining environmental protection with social justice, taking much more action to narrow the gap between rich and poor, more democratic reform, and decentralising power to local governments, to local communities, and to individuals, and pursuing a progressive internationalist foreign policy. To win, we need a totally loyal and strong but independently minded Deputy Leader, not tied to any party faction, who will act as an umbilical cord between the Cabinet and grassroots members, binding the party back together, bringing people back together, like I've done in all my government jobs, most recently in the dramatic transformation we achieved in Northern Ireland. As Deputy Leader, I want to make Labour once again the natural home for all of those who share our progressive values of social justice, of equality, of human rights and democracy. To make Labour once again the party that enthuses everyone to build a Britain of hope and fairness and liberty and opportunity for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. I want to be Deputy Leader of the Labour Party because I want to be full-time Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, whose task singularly is to rebuild the party to focus on fighting the Tories at the next general election to win. I think the problem is that we've collapsed 3 elements in terms of the Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, in terms of Deputy Prime Minister, and a full-time big Cabinet portfolio. And my concern when I took my hat in the ring was this was becoming a beauty contest within the Cabinet rather than a thorough examination of our capacity on the ground. So therefore, I took my hat in the ring because I think we should separate out the constituent parts of this job, and it should become exclusively a full-time job about rebuilding our organisational capacity on the ground, and I would suggest it should replace the position of party chair, which is imposed on the party from the Prime Minister himself to articulate the views of the Cabinet to the party, rather than to articulate the views of the party to the Cabinet. So I see the job as a transmission belt between the party on the ground and the party in the Cabinet. I would suggest also we need a thorough examination of why we've lost 4.5 million voters over the last few years. And I think we can isolate groups that have deserted us, and we need to analyse the reasons for it, especially public service workers. The more working class you are, the more greater propensity it is to leave the Labour Party, or not support since 97. What they call urban intellectuals have disproportionately moved away from the Labour Party to the Liberals. And finally, amongst black ethnic minorities, and we need to analyse why and address them and provide alternative policy remedies. But primarily, I'm here to put my hat in the ring because I want to be a full-time elected Deputy Leader of the party, exclusively focused not on houses, baubles, big Cabinet jobs, none of that, but just on the Labour Party itself. Thank you very much.
Michael, thanks very much. Just a very quick point about process. If there are any MPs here who haven't yet... blank forms in my pocket. Why should you vote for me? Because as deputy leader, I will champion a more straightforward kind of politics that's open and listens. Why do we need it? Because we have to take on the cynicism in our country that will otherwise destroy us. I will be the voice of the grassroots. Members want to be part of what the government does. Members want to be heard. They want to be listened to. I will work with people. I am not interested in divisive politics or point scoring. I have some experience. I've been a constituency activist. I've been a council deputy leader. I've worked for a large trade union. I'm a member of parliament. I am a cabinet minister. I will encourage local parties to reach out and get involved in their communities. Why do we need to do that? Because if people see Labour politics as being the way to solve their problems and to realise their hopes and aspirations for the future, they won't see politics as a remote business. They will see it as part of natural life. And Labour should be the natural place where people turn when they want to change things. Because a party that does things, locally and nationally, is a party that is going to go on winning elections. And finally, I want us to be absolutely unapologetic about our values. They matter just as much as our policies, and indeed they should shape them. And I want a country which acts on its concern about poverty, whether in Africa or in constituencies like mine in Leeds, where the gap between rich and poor is the biggest challenge that we face. I want a society that places as much importance on our children and our relationship one with another as it does on economic stability. I want a politics in which we ask people to give something back as well as to ask things of others. I want a culture in which we celebrate the things that people contribute, whether in public service, in community organisations, in business or elsewhere. I want a world in which we put justice and working with others at the heart of our foreign policy. And we want a Labour government which not only redistributes wealth, but which redistributes power and opportunity, because that is how we're going to build a fairer society.
After that speech, I'm tempted to give Hilary my nomination.
Yes, yes.
I always say, Hilary, once you've nominated someone, you can't take it back, and it's twice that I nominated me. Why did I do that? For the majority of my time, 33 years in this party, we've been the party of opposition. And I believe that we are now more comfortable as the party of government, in the sense that we've realised that it's only by long periods in government that you can truly transform society to meet our objectives, which are a more equal society, greater equality, and the eradication of poverty. And we've achieved government and maintained government by occupying the middle ground, the centre ground of politics, and then shifting it to the left. And I believe we vacate that territory at our peril. And I believe that if we do hold on to that territory, this process, this transition to a new leadership team, can really help our party to renew ourselves, to provide a fresh, reinvigorated face towards the public, because I think we need that to win a fourth term in government. Now, we are electing in this process a leadership duo. I nominated Gordon Brown because I believe he's by far the best person to convince the public that we'll have a party of substance that can take them through difficult times with climate change, with international security, with energy security, difficult with demographic change, with pensions, difficult times. And I believe that I want to be deputy leader because I believe I can bring something to the show. I think my skills, my experience, my background can help. I think the differences between us won't be on policy so much as the role of the deputy leader. I believe the deputy leader has to be supportive of the leader, so to a large degree you work out what the job description is with the leader, and of course you deputise for the leader, Beyond that, I believe it's really essential to be that conduit between the leadership and all parts, between the cabinet and all parts of the Labour movement. I think it's crucial to solve the problems of declining membership. This is a slightly bigger audience than my CLT and most CLPs we attend. We need to change that. But most importantly and most emphatically, we need to have a strategy to win the next general election and remain the party of power rather than slip back into the futility of opposition. Thank you very much.
Roll of drums, Harriet.
Camberwell and Peckham, the constituency in which I represent, is a hard-pressed inner city constituency, and when I was first elected, for all to see, you could see the poverty, inequality, the prejudice, the unemployment, and I couldn't do anything about it. None of us could do anything about the things we cared about until we got into government. And we got into government because we really listened to what people said, and because we really built up the party, and we put out a plan for government which showed things that would help and improve and make a difference in people's lives, and because we won support from women as well as men, and from the south as well as the north. And 10 years on, we need to renew the party, and we need to do all of those things again. And we're picking a new leadership team to take that forward. Now, I think the chances are that there might not be an election for leader, but you are clearly spoiled for choice. When it comes to the deputy, that is evident. So just in a spirit of helpfulness, can I just suggest some things that you might bear in mind when choosing your next deputy leader? Firstly, we're choosing a team. We already know that the leader is going to be a man. Do we really need another man to be deputy leader? Labour is the party of equality. We believe in men and women working together. And how would we feel, how would we look if we chose an all-male team and Cameron chose a woman for his deputy? Secondly, we need to be strong in Scotland, Wales and throughout England. Now, in my 25 years in politics, I've campaigned all over, but I'm from the south. Thirdly, I think you need in a deputy action, not words. Not just being able to talk about things, but being able to do stuff. Now, new laws on domestic violence, more Labour women MPs, a national minimum wage, the Human Rights Act, maternity pay and leave doubled, the national childcare strategy, the things that I've campaigned for, we've been able to put into action. When it comes to building the party, my own party in Camberwell and Peckham, we've really built up the membership, so we've got 700 active campaigning members now. So I would just say to you, if you want a winning team, then have Gordon for leader and me for his deputy.
No indication, I hope, of the final outcome. I will say something right at the start here this evening. I think it's absolutely essential that we conduct this contest in a spirit of comradeship and unity, and I have absolutely no doubt that it's exactly what we're going to do. I'm on the top table here with people who are the greatest talents in our movement, and I'm absolutely delighted that the party has got such a choice. But like all of you, I am sick and tired of people actually putting us into separate camps. So let's end it right here. No more Blairites, no more Brownites, just Labour, because we're all... And in case anybody hadn't noticed, Granita is shut. The brilliant turnout we've got tonight shows me that there's a huge thirst for debate in the party. You've all got a hot ticket tonight because there was even a waiting list. But you know, it really is a big choice. It's about electing a team that can go on to win the next election. And I think that the deputy leader should be Labour's campaigner-in-chief, motivating, enthusing, leading the charge out there on the streets, in our estates. I don't believe that the Labour deputy leader should be the deputy prime minister. I think this is a vital Labour Party job, elected by the members, not an add-on to some prestigious government department. And this is no weekend job, it's going to be a full-time job to get us to win that next election. I'm Labour through and through, and I've always put Labour first. I am loyal to our leadership because I believe that unity and loyalty are how you win trust with the public, and it's also how you win elections. But make no mistake, I'm nobody's fool, and I will fight all the way for the things I believe in. I grew up in Salford in the 50s and 60s. My dad was a fitter in a factory, he was an AEU shop steward. My mum was a secretary for the Electricians Union. They left school at 14. My brother drives a Manchester bus. I don't need a sociologist to talk to me about the white working class. I did it the hard way, and that makes you pretty tough. And if I could sum up the attitudes and values of working class families in this country, it would really be this. It's about ambition. And it's ambition not just for themselves, but for the communities. It's to get a better house, a better job, to create a better neighbourhood, and to have a better future for the next generation. I never met a miner who wanted his son to be a miner. And that's why I believe that Labour should be the party of ambition and success, giving people the chance to work, the powers to tackle crime and antisocial behaviour, driving up standards in inner city schools so the middle class don't opt out and leave the area. Ambition, success, but also fairness. Labour values and the values of the British people. I think your deputy leader should focus ruthlessly on winning the fourth term, especially in the marginal seats in London and the South East. Focused on recruiting that new generation of activists, because activism is how you win elections. And finally, use every platform to attack the Tories. David Cameron's not going to have an easy ride over the next 6 weeks, because we're all going to be out there fighting David Cameron and the Tories.